So, if you compare that to a normal lesson, what do you think? Like that compared to an everyday lesson, did that feel different or the same, or?
I was being more. I was probably pointing out and saying things more than I would normally necessarily, probably.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot about coaching, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was similar. That's generally what I do. I don't know if that's...
I just wondered if you felt it was really different, because some people say it feels really different.
Right. Having someone in the back, do you mean, as well?
Yeah, all those things. Sometimes it can feel totally different to a normal lesson.
Yeah, but, I mean, I was aware. Obviously, you were in the back, and I did feel a bit stupid. I did feel a bit stupid at times.
No, it's good to get used to that.
Right.
So, what do you think overall?
I don't know. I think maybe where it fell down is there was not maybe a definite plan. I don't know, because it got a bit sort of.
Yeah, that's good you mentioned that, because that's one thing I'll go over now.
Right.
I've made quite a few notes here.
Right.
They're a bit scribbled because this car's moving around.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what was the aim of the lesson? Just see if you can remember.
Well, that's the point, wasn't it? Was junctions?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was roundabouts.
Yeah.
Was what I'd said.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. I think it was a little bit maybe vague.
Because the two things I wrote down were weather, about dealing with the weather.
True.
But not looking at the gears.
Right.
It is easier when you write it down, because I know you can if you want, by the way, my notes. When you're doing this, you are allowed to write down if you want.
Right.
Because some instructors write it down and stick it on the dash or whatever. They just have like a bit of paper, so they know exactly what they're going to do. So the lesson plan, like the aim, is always right in the face. Because then you can look at it and think, yeah, that's what I'm doing. If that helps at all.
Yes.
You don't have to, but just so know, because if you don't write it down, sometimes you can get to the end and think, what was I doing again? It's hard to remember.
Yes.
So I'll go through this bit by bit, because this can take a while to go over.
Okay.
So the thing that was missing at the beginning was the roles. Do you know about role discussions? It's known as roles and responsibilities.
No.
Because what I need to do is tell the people what you expect them to do. Because I don't think she knew like what she was supposed to be doing. So, for example, you could say to them, it comes in on... So it says about risk management. Did the training ensure the people fully understood how responsibility for risk would be shared? So at the beginning, what you need to do is tell her clearly what you want her to do. So like you could say, with they're not looking at the gears. Well, I mean, that's quite an easy one, but like the weather. So the topics, they're not that vague, but I'll look at roundabouts. That was another one. We said about doing the roundabouts.
Yes.
What you need to do is tell her what you wanted to do.
Right.
So with the roundabouts, what did you want her to do? Like what did you want her to be responsible for?
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So
for like checking her mirrors.
Yeah. So you could say to her, what do you feel happy doing on your own? And she would say maybe mirrors, the signalling, the lanes. And then you say, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to help you with?
Right.
And she would have said, what do you think she would have said? What topic do you think she wanted to do?
Gear.
What else needs to be worked on, do you think?
With this lady?
Yeah, because there's one thing I wrote down which I think would really help, but it wasn't done.
Oh.
Any ideas overall? We'll come back to that in a bit if not, doesn't matter.
Speed before gears?
It's a little bit about that, but we'll come back to that in a bit. But It's just really the roles at the beginning.
Right.
So you must have clear roles set, so you must tell them what you want them to do. Because when you went off, how long was the briefing, do you think?
Not very long.
That
I don't like
2 minutes,
doing that.
Because it was only about 2 minutes, I think, 2.5 minutes. Because all you really said is, you set down the plan for all the topics, but you didn't really tell her what you wanted her to do.
No,
so
I didn't.
You would have said, like, when we get to a roundabout, you tell me when you see one, and then you tell me about the mirrors, the signal, all that stuff. Then I'll help you with what we'll come to in a moment, because there's one thing we need to go over, which was one of the main points. So the roles is one thing, just put roles in discussion. But it's what I meant before about when you know that, it's easy to implement. Because now you know you've got to do that. Next lesson you can do that. It's much, much easier.
Right, right.
So whoever you've got next, just ask them, like, what do they want to be responsible for? And they might say, I can do it all on my own, and then you've done it. If they can do it all on their own, that's great. That's the topic done. They might say to you something that you don't expect, which I think if you'd asked her, I think I know what she would have said, but I won't tell you just yet. Yeah. I'm only guessing. I might be wrong, but I'm just guessing what she might have said.
Okay.
So the other thing, again, this is specific to not check test, standards test, but I know it's kind of a small point, but it's something you must do. You have to mention the fact I'm in the back.
Right.
Because you didn't make any mention of me
I
being
know
in
I
the back.
didn't. Or the jewels, did I? Either,
That's it, the jewels, yeah. So I done the jewels.
Yes.
I know you probably would have told her before, and she knew I was there, but you must mention it in front of the examiner. Because if they don't hear you say it, they'll say you didn't tell her. And even if you say, well, I did, they'll say, well, you didn't, because you need to show them.
Right. Right.
So it's a little, I know it could be annoying because like with the dual controls, do you know about that? About having to say you've got dual controls?
I've
You have
read
to be
about
aware.
it.
Yeah. Do you know about ADI 1? Have you read that?
I've heard about that because you've mentioned that as well,
that's
and
it,
that's going to be something I need to do as homework.
Definitely read that. It's 144 pages, but if you go to page 60 to 91, it's about the standards check.
Can you write that down?
Yeah.
60 to 91,
Yeah,
ADI
I'll
1.
put that.
What if I keep this?
If you want to make any notes, you can make notes if you want while I'm talking.
Oh, can I? All right, well done then.
That could help.
That'd be easy.
Well, you've got the video, so the video is the best way, but that's the advantage of doing the videos.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
you'll
the
be able to watch
video
that back.
then, I'll be able to watch back with your
Yeah.
comments on as well.
Yeah, all this.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's why I film all my lessons, because I can watch them back, and that's how I get better and better. So I think I didn't know I was doing that wrong.
Right.
So it's quite warm.
Let me have a bit of air. Turn the lights off as well. Do you want yours open?
That's fine. That's good. Yeah. So where are we? So just mention the passenger. All you've got to do is say how would the person in the back make a difference.
Right.
And then whatever they come out with, you base it on that. So they might say, well, it's going to be heavier or whatever. The main difficulty is the weight, because if it's heavier, you could have used that in the lesson plan, when you're talking about the weather.
Yeah.
So you could have said, like, the person in the back, they could make a difference, like the rain could have, because it does feel a bit heavy. Some cars on mine, it doesn't really feel much different, I find. People have never really said it does. But some cars it does, depends on your engine, your car. Your fuel as well, I don't know how much fuel you've got. If you've got a full tank of fuel, that's like having someone in the back. So I don't know how much fuel you've got now, but if you had a full tank, things in a diesel you don't notice that, do you? Because you don't feel the difference. But in a petrol car you really feel it. I used to have a petrol, if you put your foot down, it's really heavy with a full tank of fuel. So yeah, just make sure you mention the jewels.
The jewels.
Yep.
Yep.
And all you've got to do is say to them something as simple as usual, I've got dual controls, and I'll use them if needed.
Right.
But that's where the roles come in. You can say to her, would you feel comfortable doing the junctions on your own, the roundabouts? And then you can say, well, if you feel comfortable with that, I won't need to use the jewels so much. So then you've got jewels. You don't just say, I've got dual controls. So that doesn't really help them much. So you kind of bring it into the conversation.
Right.
That's always a big thing.
So I'll use them if necessary.
Yeah, that's it. I know you might say, well, it's obvious to know, but if you don't show the examiner, they don't know that. So if you say at the end, she know that, they'll say, well, she didn't, because you didn't tell her. So I know she might know it, but you've got to show them. There's a thing called C, which is what I always remember, which is SEE, and it's to show the examiner evidence. So if you remember C, it's not a big thing that goes on the whole test, but if you show the examiner evidence, that's what you're doing. So anytime you say something, you've got to prove it to them.
Right.
Like if you say, she normally does the junctions well, then you've got to show them evidence of that.
Right.
Which we won't go over all that now because it'll take ages and ages. That's one of the main things about mentioning those.
Yes.
So the next one down, I'll tend to do this on marking down from the sheet. So what's the agreed lesson structure appropriate for the pupil's experience and ability? So what do you think of that?
Are we talking about weather and not looking at gears?
Yeah. So was that suitable for her, or was that too easy, too hard? What do you think?
Well, I thought it was suitable. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, I know, but then it got vague, didn't it? I didn't really do that. That's the problem.
That's the only problem, yeah.
She hadn't driven in rain like that before.
Yeah.
So that was.
Because the things with the lesson structure, you couldn't do that much because you didn't really set any goals. So that's the problem. So if you don't set any goals,
then you can't really.
Yeah, that's it. You don't know if she's meeting the standards because you haven't set to any standards.
No, I can see that now.
The way this works is this is all in ADI 1. I'm not digging it, but if I watch myself, I make these mistakes as well. So it's me that does this wrong as well. It says in ADI 1 that the marking has to be consistent. So if you don't set any goals, you can't therefore get good marks on that because you haven't set any goals to work towards, you see what I mean? Yeah. So it was good, you did structure well, but it's just there wasn't as much structure as it could have been.
Right.
But for what she's done, that seemed appropriate. Again, it's not too bad. Were the practice areas suitable? What do you think of that? Was that route too easy or too hard, or was that good?
Well, she really liked it, didn't she? We have done that route. Obviously, we've done those roads.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into with the heavy rain.
Yeah.
You know, that's the general areas we go round anyway.
Yeah. So overall, they're not too bad.
No.
The practice is pretty good. There's only one part at the end I'll mention in a bit, which is where you think the one part was that it was maybe not suitable. There's only one towards the end where it was maybe a bit beyond.
Well, emerging right at that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Do you remember what she said when she got there? I know it's easier for me in the back writing notes, but do you remember what she said?
I can't, no.
Because the other day she said, oh goodness gracious.
Oh.
Because that means she's obviously shocked at what she got to do. So not beyond her, but it's just there you could maybe take over and help her.
Yeah.
But we're going to come back to that in a moment, because that's where it all comes back to the sounding in a moment.
Right.
This is the main one, the next one. So it says, was the lesson plan adapted when appropriate to help the pupil work towards their learning goals?
Right.
What do you think the one topic is you could have done? Because there's one thing you didn't quite notice that she was really struggling with really bad. And all the problems came back to that one thing. So I think
speed before gears.
Something to do with that, yeah, but I think if you change this, if you did this as a lesson plan instead of roundabouts even, all the problems will go. So, if something to do with speed, what do you reckon? What was she having trouble with quite a few times? If I give you like a few recaps, because I'm trying to hide my notes from you.
Okay.
There's one where you turned left and you was talking about pedestrian crossing. Do you remember that one? And she was having trouble with it there. And then she said something about the roundabout. She said, this is a funny roundabout. And it was a problem there. And there's a few others. There's one where you turn right to the end we mentioned just now. There's another one, this is a clue where she didn't get the biting point. There's quite a few where that's a problem. So what is the main problem she's got?
A clutch.
Yeah, the clutch control. So what I would have done instead, forget the roundabouts, do clutch control. So if you do clutch control, all the other problems will go. Because all the rest was good, the driving was good, mirrors are good, speed's pretty good, gears are pretty good. But when she gets to a junction, she's really struggling. You know, it's like when she's turning left and right, she's trying to creep, she's struggling a lot. So I think if you work on that, that will get rid of a lot of the problems.
Right.
Right. So I'll mark this down now. The way this works, by the way, is they mark it, then they add it up at the end, so I don't know what grade you're going to get. I don't think, oh, that's a B, that's an A. You just write it down, and at the end they add it up. That's what you get.
Right.
Because you know, like on the driving test, sometimes they don't do that. If they want to pass them, they might overlook a few things now and then. Officially they don't, but they do.
If they can tell that they're a safe driver.
That's it, but with this you don't get that. You get marked as you do it. So it's kind of harsh, as it were. So this can be down to opinion as well, because some examiners will might, if you had 3 examiners in the back, they'd all mark you differently. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
But based on what I saw there, did they try and identify the learning goals and needs?
No.
You did, but not as much as you could.
Right.
So yeah, the learning goals really was going to be the clutch control, because that's the thing you got to pick up on, that you're going to do that. So that would be a 1, just because you did it, you picked out what she needs to work on, but you didn't really change it much.
Right.
So I mark that as there. They normally mark it just as a line, so like a minor, what do you call it, a driver fault on a test. So was the agreed lesson structure appropriate for the pupil's experience and ability? What do you think of that?
Well, I do think it was.
Yeah. It's good, but it's just because that's the one, you can only really get 1 on that, because you've only got 1 on there. You can't have like 1 there and 3 there, because it wouldn't match up. It's like saying you identify the goals, but the structure was really good. Well, you didn't identify goals. So they don't always go like 1 all the way down, but that's the way that would work on there.
Okay, I understand.
Those ones there, for example, don't affect this one here. It's not all the way down, but it's just some of them.
Okay.
But to change that is simple. All you've got to do is, if you do more of a briefing and work on that, and then set better goals, that could easily be a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
So it might look bad, but you can easily turn around within a few hours practice with lessons.
Right.
So if you just try doing more on the briefings. Were the practice areas suitable? I'd say pretty much, yeah. I mean, that, to be fair, could have been a 3. So
Apart
2 or a
from
3, yeah.
Junction, maybe.
That's it, just towards the end. Because it is a busy time of day as well, so you're not going to get anywhere quite around here. You don't get quite roads in Birmingham this time of day.
No.
So I'd say that'll be a 2, because it was suitable. Only not a 3, simply because of other things we'll go over in a moment. But again, don't feel bad about that, because you can easily change this up. It's very easy to change this into higher marks.
Right.
So that's what I did on my last check test. I was a
Yeah.
grade 4 and I went to a 5, almost 6, just by doing things like this. So, was the lesson plan adapted when appropriate to help the pupil towards their learning goals? What do you think?
Probably not.
No, that's it. So you did in some ways. It wasn't awful because you did adapt to some, like where you pulled over and talked about meeting. That was good, but not enough. Because really the clutch control was screaming out at you.
Right.
I wrote down toward the end, CC exclamation mark. I was like clutch control.
Oh God.
Because there's a few comments from the people which I think I wrote down. Because he's interested at the end. She actually said she thought it had got better.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because.
I know.
To me, it didn't seem to get better. I'm not being rude, but it didn't seem to be much better at the end than the beginning, in terms of the way she was creeping. So there's something you did right, she was happy with that. But that's at the end, the pupil mentioned clutch control. So it's really clutch control. That, to be fair, that's probably like 9 times out of 10, that's the topic you do on all lessons, because it's always, something I'm always going over.
Right.
So the lesson, last one was the lesson plan adapted. It would be a 1.
Okay.
Again, this is easy to change, and this isn't my opinion, this is what they mark you on. So this isn't me saying this is what the criteria says.
So instead of a possible 12 there, I've got 3, 5.
That's it, 5. So to put 5 in there.
So that's not a good start, is it really?
It's not, but again, this is going to need to be changed. If you did this and got 3 all the way down, you wouldn't be doing it. That's the point. If I went and did this now, I'd probably get, I don't know, but if I'm marking myself, I'll probably get 2, 3, 2, 2, whatever. Just because I'm more tuned to it. I'm sort of more used to what they're looking for, what they're after.
Right.
Because you're at the same position. I was in about 4 years ago, because you've been teaching 9 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
9 years ago, I was a grade 4, and I went up to a 5 just by doing this. Just by spending about a week or 2 doing these, and I went right up in no time.
Really?
So, don't feel bad about that, it's pretty good.
Okay.
If you took a member of the public off the street and did this, they get zeros all the way down.
Right.
So to get anything is quite hard. So risk management, we'll go over this fairly quick because I don't want to take ages and ages.
Okay.
But did the training ensure that people fully understood how the responsibility for risk could be shared?
I didn't, did
No,
I?
that's it. Because you've got to make it clear what you want them to do. So on that one, what I would have done is pulled them over somewhere, did the clutch control, and then say to her, how comfortable with that do you feel? And then maybe talk her through it. Because the ones where it went wrong, the junctions turning left and right, what didn't you do that you could have done? Like if she's struggling, what do you need to do?
What, Jewel?
You could, but what else? What can you do? You're sort of doing it, but what level of instruction would you be using? Do you know about a lot of different levels? Because you different terms, like about the levels of instruction.
Yeah.
Like fully guided, prompted, on their own.
Well, I was prompting more than anything, wasn't
That's
I?
it. What do you reckon
so
she needed?
guided
That's
then?
it. Because she was struggling. She was saying like the words she said at one point worried. Actually, she said at one point in the video she actually said I was worried, and it's because of clutch control.
Right.
She didn't say that, but that's what she meant. She said I'm really worried on these junctions. So you need to jump in, talk through it fully. Because if she's told you you're worried, and I think you said something like okay, and that was it. So it's like she's telling you she's really worried. Yeah, really worried.
Right.
But you're just saying okay. There was a lot of good, by the way. You only mentioned the bad. Everything I don't mention is really good because there's lots of good stuff going on there.
Right.
So, did the training ensure the people understood?
No.
Not really.
No.
Again, these are all these
Would you
changes.
say
Don't worry about it.
nothing, then?
That'll be a 1 because you did to some degree. You did sort of tell her what you're going to do, like roundabouts and that, but you didn't make it clear exactly what you wanted her to do. But so this is all linked together. So if you improve one of these, all those scores get pushed up. That's how easy it is.
Okay.
So it's like one thing goes wrong, it can knock everything else down.
Right.
Were directions and instructions given clear and in good time? What do you think of that?
I feel, yes.
Yeah, pretty much good. There's only a few that were a bit confusing. There's one roundabout, where you went mini roundabout ahead, then mini roundabout left.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you confused her a bit because you said something about, is that car signalling right? And do you notice what she did when you said that? She went to indicate riding, but she was going to go right. Then you said, no, we're going left.
Yes.
Because I know what you did. That can happen. That's the easiest to happen. You can get mixed up. But overall, it was really good.
Right.
There's only a few that was a little bit late, but not bad at all. So it'll definitely be a 2. It could be a 3.
Okay.
But that's pretty good. Again, the 2 and the 3. It's not bad. You don't get 3. To get a 3 means, if you see what it says there, demonstrated in all elements. So you've got to do everything perfect without any faults to get a 3. Pretty much.
Yes.
Maybe 1 slip up, but not much at all.
Yes.
3s are very hard to get. So you might. Most instructors will only probably get 1 or 2 3s on the whole thing.
Right.
So don't worry about that. it's mainly 2s and 1s. You don't want 0s, you want 3s, but they're hard to get.
Yeah.
Was the trainer aware of the surroundings and people's actions? What do you think about that?
Well, I would have said the surroundings, yes, in general.
That was really good. There's one part which did really well, which was the one with the car behind you at the roundabout. I think it was a roundabout. Well, turning left, that was it. Where he said about he's quite close. And there was another one later on where he said he's quite close. So that was good, because you was aware that was going on. Yeah, that person blew the horn or whatever. Right. So that would be a 3, because you were aware. That was really good.
Okay.
So, was any verbal or physical intervention by the trainer timely and appropriate? What do you think about that?
I wouldn't say too bad.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty good. There's some are a little bit late, just because like the meeting situation that can change really quick.
Oh, yes.
There's that one where that car parked in a really bad place. Was it a Volkswagen, I think? He parked right on the end of the road where you turn left by a crossing, and you went round it and the car came around pretty quick.
Yes.
That can happen, but it's just only a few little bit late, but not too bad at all. So that will be a 2.
Right.
Again, the examiners, bear in mind, examiners do a whole month training course on this, so they won't go any over in this much detail. You'll get 2 minutes if you're lucky. They'll just say, blah, 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 blah. Fix track, go. They won't give you any of this level of depth.
No, of course not.
Yeah, they've got another one to do. They haven't got time to sit around.
No.
Or hang around, whatever. So what's sufficient feedback given to help the people understand any potential safety critical incidents? Which means, did you tell her enough about the thing when the car's behind you? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, but it comes down to that clutch control. Because you did, but you need to change the lesson to fix that.
Yeah, which I didn't do. I do see that, and honesty, I wouldn't. Well, like you realise, I couldn't have even told you, could I?
Yeah.
Hadn't
Sometimes,
seen
if you watch me teach, you would say you didn't do this, and when you look back at it on the video, you think it's obvious. If you watch the video back, just watch how many times you're struggling on junctions, and that's what the main thing needs to be. So you did say roundabouts, junctions, but not the right part of them.
Yes.
So it's more the clutch control.
Yes.
So what's sufficient feedback given? Let's just think. He wouldn't be a 0, wouldn't be a 3. It was like a 2 or 1. Just thinking. What examiners do is they mark this pretty quick, so they don't have to think about it too much. Whereas if you do it like, it's actually harder to think about it.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah, I'll give that a 2. Because you did kind of miss the point of the clutch a bit, but that's not exactly the same thing. You just need to mention that more. But you did give a feedback about the meeting situation you pulled over. You did that.
Right.
So that would be, this is the hardest part enough. So 1, 3, 6, 8, 10. So the good news is you passed that, because if you get 7 or less, you fail instantly on that. But overall, that was good. Teaching and learning. Was the teaching style suited to people's learning style and current ability? That's pretty good, but it's the same about you need to be sort of more fully guided. So you kind of jump in and tell them everything, tell them more.
Yes.
If on the next lesson Sunday, I bet if you did clutch control and you helped them more, like if you know that road where you go, you've got the long road with where you turn left in the crossing and the mini roundabouts and the bus garage at the top of the hill.
The Yardley Wood Road.
That's it. Down the side is that private road. You know, the little side road where the taxis ride.
Yeah,
what I would have done there is pull into there and do clutch control on the hill. So that's what I did on my last lesson today. Instead of driving around. So you pull over there, get us practice creeping. Say to her, like, imagine there's a tree on the left. Imagine that tree is the end of the road, the roundabout. Try and roll up, and you say there's a car coming. She drops it into one, balances it, and then goes. So if you practice that like a dry run, then go and do it on roundabouts, and you can say to her, I'll talk you through that on the roundabouts. When you feel more comfortable, let me know. Then I'll get you to do it on your own. I mean, if you did that, I think she'd really pick it up quick.
Okay.
It's good. You are suiting it well. The teachings are suited, but you just need to instruct a bit more. So in most elements you do good, but you just need to up the instruction a little bit.
Right.
Was the pupil encouraged to analyse problems and take responsibility? That comes back to the other one, because you didn't make her take responsibility.
No.
You've got to say to her, I want you to do this. Like, I want you on the next one to tell me what you're thinking about this or whatever. I know it's quite vague to say whatever. You could talk about this for hours and hours. So it is good. You are analysing quite well on the move. That's good. You're doing a lot of moving work where you're getting to look in the mirrors and all that.
Right.
But that comes into the next one. So were opportunities and examples used to clarify learning outcomes? That's pretty good when you're getting her to talk about it, like you're getting her to look at what she's doing. I'll do this one first. So, what's the people encouraged to analyse and take responsibility? That has to be a one again, sorry, because
Yeah, okay.
I shouldn't say sorry because it is what it is. But,
Yeah, no, I get it.
But again, that will all get pushed up. If you do that one, that would push all of these up
Right.
because you'd be making her say, "I want you to help me with creeping," and then if she'd have said that, you would have done it, and it can push it all up. So it's
Yeah.
very easy to fix all this up. So where opportunities and examples used, that was good because you did pull over like the one with the meeting situation, and you explained that to her well. So, yeah, what was I going to say about that? You mentioned the one about the puddles. See what I said on my notes. Yeah, the one thing she was saying is about like, the roundabouts are funny, but she said the roundabouts are funny. That you need to go into more detail.
Right.
Because that's what she was saying, like, why did she think it was funny? Because when she said it's funny, you agreed with her. Yeah, exactly. But then why was it funny? What was funny about it?
Yeah.
And she would have probably said, I don't know what she would have said, but based on what she said, you based what you were doing based on that. So if she'd have said, I can't control it on the approach, that brings you back to clutch control. Or if she said the angle's a bit funny, you work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know what she would have said, but that's the thing you have to ask.
Right.
The pen's going to be funny. So,
Okay.
yeah. So,
yeah, because I think I just said, well, these people get confused at these 3
That's
exit
it,
mini
yeah.
ones, which
That's
they
it.
do, though, don't they?
That's
Russ?
it. But you have to go over why,
For
which
whatever
again comes
reason.
back to that clutch control.
Yeah, I get it.
Like my pen needs a bit of clutch control.
I know.
So
Well,
it's
this
a
is
cheap.
my last one that works.
Yeah,
but...
that's better. It's a cheap pound land bin.
Okay.
So, yeah, where were you? Opportunity examples used to clarify. That was pretty good again.
Okay.
I may say 1, but I'll give you 2.
Okay.
Simply because, I could see you trying with that. So the next one, was the technical information given comprehensive, appropriate and accurate? So that was good, that was strong because you're talking about the mirrors and about the looking around. The only thing again that's missing is you didn't pick up on the fact that she needs to do the clutch control. So you see it all comes back to clutch control. That one thing can be like the bugbear of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So was technical information given comprehensive? It was good because you pulled over, you did the diagrams, you told her about keeping back, so that's pretty good. So that would be a 2.
Okay.
And just spotting the clutch, that's it. It's all about clutch. So, was the people given appropriate and timely feedback during the lesson? This is one that's a little bit to mention. The one where this really came in was, if I give you this example,
Yeah.
you was at the end of the road, going to get left. Right, this can sound quite funny, I'm not me to laugh. She was really struggling with the pedals, really struggling to go, and like the car was creaking a bit, and there was loads of cars coming from the right, and he was asking her what kind of crossing is that.
Right.
Yeah. So you were saying, is that a pelican or a toucan or whatever you're saying? Yeah, that doesn't matter at all. Forget that because she was struggling to get out of the junction.
Yeah.
So you're talking about what kind of crossing it is, and she's struggling to even see and get out of the junction.
I know.
So forget that. It's good because you are asking her good questions, but at the wrong time.
Right.
There's one which I think I made a note of. Yeah, there's one where she said something about I didn't get the bite. I think she actually said to her, you said to her you didn't get the bite, and then you just let it go, and you didn't follow up at all. So if you didn't get the bite, pull over, get her to find it, creep on the hill, like again, clutch. It's all clutch control. See, clutch control. It's always the same thing. This is always the thing that comes up on tests.
Is
it? If people miss that, not always, but if people miss that, everything goes wrong.
Yes.
So if you put that into place, it will fix itself up quite nicely.
Yeah.
So you're doing it really well. It's appropriate, but it's not timely.
Right.
Because what you're saying is really good, but at the wrong time.
Yes.
There's one where, what was it you were saying now? You asked something about, was it you was talking about a cat or something? Or you was talking about the weather, and then you said suddenly had to talk about a car coming towards you. I can't remember exactly where that was, but there's only one where you're talking about something, and something else was developing that needs to be looked at.
Right.
But if you watch it back, you'll probably see that happening, because you'll think, oh, I didn't do that.
Okay.
So it's appropriate, but it's not really timely.
Right. Okay.
So I'd say again 2 because you did it in most times good. It's just the appropriate the timing.
Right.
So were the pupils' queries followed up and answered? This is one to work on a bit because there's quite a few times she asked you things like she didn't force it on you, but let's just run through some of these. Like the 3-way roundabout, she said this one's much harder, but then you didn't follow up on it.
Right.
So you ask her, why is it harder? Why do you think it's harder? How could I help you with that? What if you ask her the suggestion, why is it harder? She'd give you all the answers. Then from there you go on. She might just say, because I can't see. A lot of people say I can't see because it's in the way. You might find out, so can I take this out? You can't take it out.
No.
So it's about the head movement, whatever. But if you don't ask her, you don't know.
Right.
And there's one she said about like this roundabout's funny. but you didn't say what's funny like I mentioned before.
No.
I still put like good Q&A, but sometimes irrelevant.
Yeah.
So you're asking her over and over again about the mirrors, and I think about 3 times she told you about checking the mirrors and the speed. That was good, but you need to forget that and work on the other stuff.
Right.
Because she's saying that well. It's good instruction. You're doing a good Q&A, but it's not the right thing to be talking about. Because like she can already do that.
Yes.
Because I don't know you or her. To me, she was screaming out, "I can do that." So I'll leave her alone, let her do that, and help with these things like when you're talking about the crossing, and she couldn't do that, and it was kind of creeping.
Yes.
So what was I saying? Meeting, same problem. Yeah. So good Q&A. So there's a lot of good stuff. You mentioned really well. She said something about you've got to react really quick, and you said no, you don't because you plan ahead. That's really good. You're telling her, don't react. I thought it's good you mentioned that because she was saying I've got to react quick, and you say no, you've got to plan it better. But to plan it better, what does she need to do? Like if she comes to a junction, what does she need to be able to get out of them? Well,
clutch control.
That's it, clutch control. So it's all clutch control. You see to write big notes of clutch control. Go over that.
Okay.
So that was good.
Right.
It was good, but it can be better. So I put a 1 because you didn't do all of them.
Right.
What they want to see, what you should be doing, is answering everything they ask you. Not maybe straight away, but definitely answer it. If they ask you a question, you don't answer it. That is a big problem because you're not answering the questions as you were.
Yeah.
Did the trainer maintain? Were you discriminate? No, that was fine.
Okay.
You only said one thing I didn't quite hear about a bus driver. I think you said about they're not going to cut you up or something. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's just be careful. If I didn't hear exactly what you said, but if you say something like you didn't, but if you say bus drivers always cutting you up, you get massively marked down for that.
I said the opposite actually. I said a bus driver wouldn't normally.
Yeah, that's it. I thought you said that.
Us.
But some people say, what bus drivers are like. You've lost big marks there straight away because you're prejudicing the people. I know it's only a joke, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the session, was the people encouraged to reflect on their own performance? What do you think of that? Like at the end, what do you think how that went? Did she reflect or?
She did a little bit.
Yeah, that was good.
She?
That was good because you did ask her about what you did.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good at the end. That will be a 2 or 3.
Right.
The only reason 2 or 3 because it depends on it's all going into more Q&A.
Yes.
You can ask them more about the lesson. But I'll say to 2 just because you can always do more on that.
Okay. Because how long? Can I ask? So the briefing, the briefing at the start.
Yeah.
And then at the end, how long?
5 minutes at the beginning, roughly. 5 minutes, 3 to 5 at the end.
Really?
Probably not as long
as
at the
that?
end. Yeah. Because mine, what I do is I look at the clock and I won't move till I've done 5 minutes. I force myself into doing that.
Really?
Because I used to get in the car and say, what do you want to do? Roundabouts, let's go and do them.
Well, yeah.
That's totally what you don't want to do. So now I look at the clock and I have 5 minutes. 3 is okay, but a bit tight. If it's really good people and they've done it all before, you may do 3 because there's not much to say. 5, 7-ish, but don't go over about 7, 8. If it's going up to 7, 8 minutes, you've got to get moving, purely because of the time restraints. So you might say, I know we haven't covered everything, but we need to get moving, because, we've got to, you don't want to say because I'm on a test, but you've got to give that impression you've got to get moving.
Right.
I saw a woman once do a standard check test, a briefing. How long do you reckon she did a briefing for?
10 minutes.
About 48 minutes. 48 minutes, she was sitting for 48 minutes dead still, and she only went round the block once, and the examiner's face was great. She didn't move at all, she just sat talking the whole lesson, and that wasn't good.
Wasn't he trying to clear his throat and go?
He was sitting like that in the window, and they hadn't moved once. Because I went for a test, she came out to do a standard check test as I did an L test. I went for a walk, come back, well, it was like 38 minutes, not 48. 38 minutes later when the test finished, she was still there, she hadn't moved. So 30 minutes you wait.
Oh my God. I'd be more like you because I don't like listen to sound of my own voice for so long.
You like to get on and do it.
For God's sake, let's get on with it.
But if you don't set the lesson up, then the whole thing falls apart because you haven't set the lesson.
That's going to be a tricky one for me to
But that would be 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 13, 15. So the overall score, which I haven't planned, is 30.
Which would have been a fail.
Only just, because a 31 is a pass.
I know, it's a B, isn't it?
That's the thing, you're not doing bad at all. What you're doing is good.
Right.
So I know I've gone listed loads of bad there, but it is good. If you did the briefing better, you would have passed.
Right.
Because then the brief would have been better. I think she would have probably, I'm guessing maybe she wouldn't have said clutch control, but because the people doesn't know what that is. They might say I need to approach better, but that means, clutch control. I think if you do that, you would have got definitely a B.
Right.
You wouldn't have been an A because to get an A is really hard. If you think about it, if you get 2 in every box, you'll get a B. Just
I know, I've just
so
worked
2 in
that
every box.
out, yeah.
If you want to get an A, you've got to get perfect in at least 9 boxes, which is very hard. That's really hard to do.
God.
So you've got to be really on the ball, and if you get an A, you're either lucky, you fluked it, or you did something really good.
It could depend, like you said as well, on the examiner.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
obviously there's got to be a difference between who you get.
That's it.
Hasn't there?
If they think you do really nice and you're doing a good job, they might sort of push these up to 3s. But I don't do that because I'd rather be accurate rather than just pass you for the sake of it.
Yeah, sure.
So, not bad, you're only 1 off passing. So, if you'd have just said at the beginning, like a longer briefing, you've passed. So, it would still be a B, but most people don't care about the grade. Passing is the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they'd write their F, but don't feel bad about that because most people would fail. You only just failed. Most people did a lot worse than that on the first one.
Right.
So, did the trainer score 7 or less on risk management? No, that was good.
No.
So you can get 3 in every box, but almost have a crash and fail. So you can get everything really good, but if you have almost have a crash, you fail.
Yeah.
At any point did the trainer behave in a way which made me feel unsafe? Whatever, no. That was all good. Was advice given to seek further development? That's not appropriate because I'm not an examiner. They might say, they will always say, because if you fail, they're not going to fail you and say, don't bother trying, just give up. So they might do, but they're always going to say, yes, seek further development. They'd write there, if you're lucky, they'll write 3 or 4 words. They don't have this much time. I don't know how long we've done there, about, God, ages, that's over half an hour we did.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't give you that long.
No,
So you
of
made
course
like
they
5
wouldn't.
minutes, if you're lucky.
Yes.
And then to sign out and say, see you again in a couple of weeks or whatever. So overall, not too bad. It is good, there's a lot of good
I
stuff.
can't go through this twice, for God's sake.
But that's all. There's one I think I was going to mention, I didn't mention on that. There's one thing you got to watch is that the bus lane was available,
Right.
but you said most people don't use it.
Okay.
But if you don't use it on the test, you would fail. I know you wouldn't have a test time of day, but you would fail a test for not going in the bus lane when it's open, normally.
I'm gotten a confusion on that, but I thought that was still only if it was necessary.
Well, they say if it's open, because the idea is there's so much traffic, they're trying to get people in bus lanes more. So you should go in if you can.
They?
I know not all examiners do, because I have had the ones who said you could have been in there past them. But I've had many where they've said, well, not many, but a few. Where was it? I did one day, it wasn't around here. I think it was Shirley. Shirley's different times.
Yeah.
And they said the bus lane was clearly marked, you didn't use it, you fail. And they just wiped you out for that. And that was the only thing she failed on.
That's harsh, I
Yeah,
think.
that is, But it's just if you say no, most people don't use them, you're telling the people that don't go in them when they can.
Right.
That's the thing.
I mean, I did say as well, if necessary, but then I guess, no, that's incorrect, because if the bus lane was shut, I mean, if it was an operation, we could use it if necessary, couldn't we? To get round an obstruction
for emergencies,
or for safety.
Yeah, that's it.
Or if there's a big queue of traffic at the junction,
that's good.
can.
That's it. Yeah, if you got a good reason, like if it's between that or die, get in the bus lane.
I get it. Yeah.
Overall, it's pretty good.
All right.
The things I had to work on is mainly the briefing, because the briefing was the weakest part. Again, the briefing set the lesson up to be not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I get
if
that.
you get stronger on that, that's how they'll all be pushed up. You'll do a lot better.
Yeah, and obviously I think the key point is having a very definite subject.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because
as well.
With the weather, you did mention it, but not as much as you could.
I know. Do you know? I don't really know. I don't feel that knowledgeable.
That's it. Because there is one on here where it says.
I don't feel knowledgeable about rain and.
Like defensive driving, it will come in, I suppose.
Would it?
But yeah, the weather was good. But the one thing about that, because I don't want to go on too long, but it was halfway through, after you'd moved for about half an hour, you asked if she knew how to operate the wipers. When it'd be raining from the start. So yeah, it's try and mention that at the beginning, because otherwise you're saying to her, by the way, do you know how to use the wipers? It's been raining for half an hour. So it's just something I got picked up on. Luckily my car's got automatic wipers, so I don't do that.
I know,
so
that
it's quite handy.
I wish I had that.
It's not blowing my nose, so. Yeah, it is quite handy to have that.
I feel I really need some help to with this guy Carl. So it'll be about 20 hours. He's got a lesson tomorrow, which is the last lesson before my check test, standards check, because I'm away then with my daughters next week. Yeah. We're going to sunny Devon in a caravan where I think it's supposed to rain a bit, but anyway. So then the next time I see him, it'll be the standards check at bloody 8:45 in the morning at King's Heath as well. But He is a little bit nervous. He's generally doing all right, but I must admit, I rack in my brains what is the best thing to do.
The best thing is do a skill, not a subject. So if you look at these, don't pick one of those. What does he need to work on the most? Or what's he weak at? Or what can he improve?
I feel it's like speed on approach and getting into second gear, getting the speed down at a good time.
A bit like today. Not quite the same, but similar.
Yeah.
Slowing down. Yeah, so that's work on the skill of that, because that's more of a skill than a topic. About it's not just approaching roundabouts, whatever. But I'd use roundabouts to do that, but go around and work on that skill of approaching.
Would you? Because what I was going to choose with him, because we haven't actually done it before, and also because I'm not all that completely clued up on the routes rankings, Heath.
Yeah.
Test centre, right?
Yeah. Where do you normally go?
Because I normally teach in Shirley.
Because if you read the IDR 1, have you read that at all? IDR 1, no, it's not an IDR 1, I mean the letter you get from the DVSA, which is in IDR 1, the one you got in the post.
Yeah.
It says at the bottom, I think on page 1, it clearly says, you must know the area. It says you must be familiar.
It's not that I don't know Kings Heath, and I do, because I take people there as well, but I feel like there's a chance of getting a bit lost, so I'm going to have to obviously go out and drive it.
If you do get lost, I won't accept that as a good reason. That's the thing. Because you said you're going to Devon. I actually moved to Cornwall when I had my first check test. I moved there the day I moved in. I had a letter come through the post saying you got a check test in Cornwall. I didn't even know the area. I didn't even know where the centre was. So I had to come back here and do it here and drive back down to Cornwall, which is a real pain. So make sure you know the area. But the briefing, if you watch the videos that I did, I'm thinking which ones I can recommend to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see my videos, but I've got 200 odd. There's one I did with, have you seen the ones I did with Emma and Ella? There's 2 pupils I talk with, Emma and Ella.
I did watch a bit with Emma, I'm sure I did.
If you watch the beginning of those, watch how I do the briefings. They're not sounding perfect because they're not, but watch how much detail I go into.
Okay.
That isn't exactly standard check because unfortunately I did that just as this was all coming out. So that's kind of a little bit, not this. But if you watch how I do those and just see the kind of the goals I set. I have done some others I can maybe send you, but I haven't actually got them online yet.
What do you reckon about rural roads? Because it's Kings Heath, because obviously I want to try to avoid the Maypole and Beckett, so I want to work out a route. Hey?
Why do you want to avoid those?
Well, with him, I don't know. I suppose just from the fact of maybe making it harder for myself if something goes wrong.
Yeah, if he's not ready for it, don't do it. But I don't know anything about him.
Well, he's had about 20 hours, but he definitely did take a while to pick it up. Yeah. But now he's getting going. He's definitely getting better.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, he was one of those where I thought, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Best thing is though, just pick something they want to work on and do that. It doesn't have to be a topic, so you don't have to say it doesn't have to be rural roads. It can be just approaching anything, approaching roundabouts, approaching parked cars, anything at all. So it doesn't have to be one of those topics.
Okay, because I'm sure I read somewhere or heard it was better to do a subject rather than a skill.
No, that's
Have
backwards.
I got that wrong?
No, that's the wrong way around. If someone said that, that's totally wrong.
Okay.
Because if you say we're going to do rural roads, why? Because I want to. There's no reason. So that would say if you'd have done clutch control with roundabouts, but not just roundabouts, clutch control, that would help her a lot. Even like this, you could pull up behind a car, not this close, but you could ask her to creep around. That would be good. And then say, when you get to a junction, say to her, do you remember how you crept around the car? Do that here. And she would do that at the end of the road.
Okay.
So you're linking a skill to an area. So you say, like, when you do a 3-point turn, that's like approach to the junction. Like when they're going the curve like that, towards the curve, that's like approach to the right line.
Yeah.
I know not quite the same, but you're kind of rolling up, stopping, then rolling back, stopping. Same sort of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Would it be okay, in your opinion, because I know Kings Heath and Shirley share some routes, don't they?
Yeah, that's it.
They do share them. Like if I was to do, sort of go where we were today, because I know that area so well, like Yardley Wood, Hall Green, Billsley, rather, and I could, like you said then, a skill with him could be speed on approach,
that's it.
Planning that approach for anything. That's brilliant.
With the route, what I'd say is keep it simple, because the route I did on my last check test. Do you know the Maypole? And you go down Bell's Lane, Drew's Lane, Bell's Lane.
Yeah.
All I did was went down Bell's Lane, up Bell's Lane, down Bell's Lane, like that. The whole lesson up and down. And that was it. That's all I did. And the examiner said, brilliant route. because
Really?
the route was focusing on approaching roundabouts. And he said you didn't mess about going here and there and everywhere. You kept on the road, you kept doing roundabouts, you did it well. And I got 4 marks for planning the route. Well, I think I did it from what I remember. So,
and that was just going round in a loop, literally?
Yeah, just up, down, 10 minutes, well, 5 minutes down, like Maypole, McDonald's, Parsons Hill, down the road, you turn. The whole lesson was that. And he said, brilliant route. But our instructors go left, right, Billsley, Kingsheath, all over. And the examiner says, what are you doing? Why don't you just keep it local, go around the block, work on the skill. That's what I mean, work on the skill, not the road. Where you go doesn't matter.
Okay.
So if you go round the block, it doesn't matter. If you're developing a skill, that's fine. I wouldn't go round the block at a 30-second route, it would be quite boring.
Yeah.
At least a 5-minute kind of stretch, go round and round and round.
Really?
That would be good.
Would be fine.
Yeah. They don't mind it really, the simpler the better. Unless the pupil is really good and you're wasting their time going round and round when they could easily be doing, motorways or something, depending how good they are.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's something to think about.
So I could do something like, similar to this, like a route from here, Wheelers Lane, Swanshurst, back up, whatever that's called. Yeah, anyway, I know where I mean. I can't think of the road. And back up and just do that round.
Yeah. What I used to do is go down these roads and just go every roundabout, go right. You just go round a big circle. Right, do that. 5 minutes back to Kingsheath, you're there.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about time.
Yeah.
But talking of time, I think that's about all we need to do.
Yeah.
Because that's been about,
sorry, because you want to be...
I don't really mind it, that's good. That's helped me a lot. You tell me because I can look at what you do and compare that to what I do, and it helps me get this marking down as well. Again, if an examiner watches this, they might say, that would have been a 1, that would have been 2. But everyone's got their own interpretation of it. You can't mark like a robot every single time.
No.
I haven't been on loads and loads of standards checks, so people who've been sitting on the back of like 100, they'd know more about that. But that is what you'll get. Without being rude, you wouldn't pass, but you wouldn't be far off. So that is actually really accurate, Thursday. I didn't plan that, but that's what I was hoping you get. Because it's almost a pass, but just not quite.
Oh, that would be so frustrating, wouldn't it, there with that?
That's it.
But thank goodness. Well, thank you so much, because, I've been I do feel actually better after doing this.
Yeah. Hopefully you get used to someone being in the back as well.
Because I've been beating myself up a bit, thinking I'm a rubbish instructor and I'm not going to get through this, and I just waffle on. And
it's really just work on the briefing and trying to home in on the skill. If you do those 2 things, you pass.
Briefing and skill.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's about it.
Great.
So you can keep that if you want to bin it or whatever.
Okay, thanks.
But that is good. It's good you took the time to do this because it does help a lot. There's one of the sheet I'll give you which kind of goes with that one, which is...
So ADI 1, will I just find that on, is that the Gov website?
If you just type in ADI 1 in Google, it'll come up.
Okay,
I've actually got it on my phone, but it's so long I won't read it all now.
No, sure.
If you keep hold of this, if I can find it, that just tells you about the grades. You've probably got that already, I don't know. But that just tells
I haven't, but...
No, that tells you about that.
Okay.
I did a video as well, I don't know if you've seen, about the marking sheet. Have you watched that?
Yes.
Yeah. If you watch all that and ADI 1 and compare the 2, you can't, well, I don't say you can't go wrong, but that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of 1 hour talking that was. I didn't realise it was an hour. So this I've been talking 50 minutes, I didn't even know. but yeah, so that's still good.